Welcome to the Moonflower Path Podcast. This space is for the highly sensitive, the creatives, the earth-loving, the caregivers, the weirdos, the feelers, the change makers, and dreamers of the world. Here, we are all about guiding you to trust your body intuition so you can find home and shift culture. Through the exploration of somatic practice, self-care, and seasonal ritual, my hope is that you will be inspired to be in harmony with yourself and in a dance with the earth. I'm your host, Carolyn, and I'm so honored and grateful to be here with you today. Hello, Moonflower, and welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode, I am going to talk about the Moonflower Path Community Space. I'm going to talk through about the different paths on which you can walk, the different tiers that you can participate in, as a way of really offering you as much information as I possibly can so that you can best tune into your own intuition to know if this is a space that you want to be a part of, because the doors to the Moonflower Path Community Space are officially open. It is happening. We are here. The day has come. So before you head over onto the website and click that join button, this episode will be a helpful one so that you can be equipped with knowing, well, what tier are you actually going to want to join in terms of what's going to be the most supportive for your needs. So if you are interested in being a Moonflower member, then this episode is for you. So I would definitely recommend that you put this on in the background as you're doing some things, because it's not going to be quite as like a sit down, take some notes type of episode. It's more just going to be an information episode, and then we'll get back to regular programming next week. So let's get into it. So the Moonflower Path is just that. It is a path. And on this path, in this community space, you get to choose where you want to wander and explore on your self-care journey. I had this dream of this space, this cozy, communal, come on in however you are, in whatever state you are, whatever you're feeling, come on in, cozy up, sit down, and know that you are welcome here, no matter how you're feeling. And that within that space, there would be all these different containers, these different experiences within which you could either really tune into how you're feeling and just be with it without having to change it, or get more curious about it, or maybe balance it out with, oh, I'm feeling kind of heavy and I would benefit from feeling a bit lighter, or learning ways to really support yourself as the sensitive feeling person that you are, and that there would just be this like wide range of different resources there ready to support you. But I didn't want it to be just like let's just like throw all these resources up against the wall, see what sticks. Or I didn't want it to be, let me just put all of these resources on the screen for you and make it such that you feel overwhelmed, you don't know where to go, you don't know what's going to feel the most supportive. So I've been really intentional about creating these like 3 different spaces that you can tune into and explore. Well, what is the space that's really going to serve me now at this point in my life? I would like to say that this also was a creative endeavor like that I've never gone on before, and I found massive support from other folks in my community. So thank you to all of the people who have helped me really build this and construct this like really from the ground up. I've never seen another space, another membership space look quite like this, and I think that there's power in that, and I think that there's magic in that. So the way that I've constructed this space is split up in terms of who this community is really meant to serve. So the Moonflower Path is here to serve sensitive, creative, and earth-loving folk. That is 3 different criterias, 3 different labels, 3 different identities that you might resonate with. You might resonate with all of them. You might identify or see yourself in all of them, or you might find yourself in more in one than in others. And so we start at the very beginning, at the very core of who I know that the Moonflower Path can truly serve. At the very core, at the beginning, at its root, are highly sensitive people, highly sensitive folk. So that's where it really begins. So we start at the homestead. And the homestead is really this space where you are invited to come home to yourself, to feel the same comfort, the same safety, the same permission slip to be exactly who you are, right? To not have to wear any sort of armor, to let it feel kind of uncomfortable, to know that you're going to feel a little sensitive. There's going to be moments where you're going to feel vulnerable. There's going to be some moments where you have a lot of questions, a lot of unknowns. It's going to feel dark. It's going to feel weird, but that you are held within your experience always. And so we start at the very root of this business of the offerings, which is somatic practice. So somatic practice really starts at the body. Somatic simply means pertaining to the body. And I talked a lot more about somatic practice, self-care, and ritual earlier on in one of the earlier episodes. But here in this community, we explore somatic practice through primarily yoga and mindful movement. I am a certified yoga teacher. I have quite a few different certifications under my belt. The ones that I am the most proud of are my Yoga for All, as well as my Yin Yoga certifications, because I think that highly sensitive folk, that feelers, really benefit from more gentle, from more cozy, from more slow practices, as well as very spacious practices within which you are given full agency and permission to really explore what your body needs, what your body wants. It's not only about needing, but also about letting yourself have desires, and to really explore your intuitive self of there are no rules here. The only rule is be kind to yourself, and that's it, really. So somatic yoga is a big part of the offerings within the homestead. So it was a big decision for me where I first started teaching yoga. There was a lot of movement, and it really was, I was pulling from like what I thought I should do, which was a lot of sun salutations, a lot of kind of vinyasa-esque type of movements. And then as this space has grown, as I have grown, as I have witnessed what is the most supportive in this space, I kind of came to a head when it came to building the schedule in the homestead, and looked at the 3 classes that I've been offering for the past 2+ years, and looking at the ones that are really the most supportive as I get clearer on who I know that this space is here to serve, which is sensitive folk. There are like unlimited amounts of yoga studios and resources and YouTube channels and all the things that will offer you powerful, full of movement classes. And so I'm not worried about the people who are really looking for that. And so I'm really here to serve the folks that are not getting the support, and that is like slow, gentle, cozy practices. So I came to a head when I was building the schedule, and I thought, you know what, it's time. So I made the decision to only put the balance and the softened class on the schedule. So the homestead is where you gain access to 3 weekly live stream yoga and movement classes that will help you continually nurture your relationship with your intuitive body and really and truly come home to yourself. So you have access to 2 weekly balance classes. The balance class is really at this point a signature Moonflower Path class because it is this beautiful blend between movement and stillness. But within every single sequence that we explore, you have full agency, full permission to make the decision of, do I want to move more today, or do I want to find stillness? And that you get to really explore that within the like weird, creative, sensitive person that you are. And I'm really proud of the balance class, and I think it really deserves a lot of focus on the schedule. And then you have access to the soften class. And the soften class is this blend of restorative yoga, of pranayama, of breath work, and of yin yoga. And yin yoga is really a practice of softening in all of its aspects, softening your physical body, of softening your expectations, of softening the armor around your heart. And so this is like a cozy class through and through. So as a Homestead member, you have access to 3 weekly live stream classes, as well as all of the recordings of every single one of those classes. And the library will literally only grow. So if we do the math, there are 3 weekly classes, 4 weeks in a month, and let's say you stay with us as a member for 6 months, that means you will eventually have access to a total of 72-hour-long practices, not to mention the extra ones that I literally have already uploaded before anybody has entered into the space. So there's going to be quite a lot of growth found within this space. But at the beginning, the Homestead is really for the sensitive folk who are looking for the support and the accountability found within showing up on a weekly basis with other people live on Zoom and moving through really cozy yoga practices. I'm going to share a little bit of the words from the website to speak really to the folks that are here to be served by the Homestead. You, Moonflower, are highly sensitive and beautifully unique. You believe in kindness, slowness, beauty, weirdness, and living a purpose-driven and intention-infused life. You're tired of constantly wearing an armor to get through the day, of trying to hustle just to fit in, and of being at war with your body and your intuition. This is a safe and welcoming space where you are held as you come home to yourself. In this container, you will be supported as you discover, explore, and collaborate with your intuitive body. Through the coziness of this community, the accessibility of these practices, and the comfort of being able to show up exactly as you are, you will remember that you are your best guide and that you are worthy of care. So if these words truly lit you up, then the Homestead is possibly the space that you're going to want to hang out in. And then we continue to walk along the path. So the way that the tiers are constructed is that they stack on top of each other. So as you go up in the tiers, you have everything that the previous tier has access to. So the Meadow is the second exploration along the path. And the Meadow, that name was chosen because there's this expansiveness within that space. So the Meadow is here to truly and serve the creative folk of this community. Now I want to share the words that are written for the Meadow members. You, Moonflower, are deeply passionate and magically creative. You believe in the ability for creativity to heal, soothe, and create impact. You're tired of being at the mercy of the ups and downs of your emotional, energetic, and creative waves. There's a magic to the flow that moves through you, your schedule, and your energy, so we're not here to tie you down to any rigidity, but to instead equip you with the tools to help anchor and nourish you. Just as meadows are vast, filled with natural beauty and playful, consider this your space to dance and play within the ebbs and flows of who you are. So your creativity, darling, is incredibly needed, but it also can probably, because I can speak from experience, feel like you're just like all over the place sometimes. Sometimes you have massive amounts of energy, massive amounts of inspiration, and you have like all of the ideas. And then sometimes you're completely on the other end when you're just like exhausted, totally, quote, creatively stuck or in a rut, whatever that might mean, or have like no inspiration. Sometimes you might be right in the middle and you're finding a beautiful flow. And the hopes here is really not to get rid of all of that. I think that there is a complex and multi-layered beauty to being somebody who's like up and down and all over the place. Like there's nothing wrong with being like that. But we want you to be able to find some tools to be able to really anchor and nourish you throughout the ups and downs. So it's not about being able to bring you down, down, down all the time to anchor you and ground you and you're always meant to feel calm. But how can we like meet you where you're at and use the energy when you have it? Use the times when you're feeling a little bit more creatively stuck and really support you through all of that. So as a Meadow member, one, you get access to all of the weekly live stream classes as well as the recordings. But the bulk of this tier is the Library of Somatic Self-Care Resources. So this is where the very two cardinal questions of this space of what do I feel and what do I need will really come into play. So using the monthly seasonal themes, every month there will be a drop of new content that you can explore, anchor into, and soak up the cozy vibes that self-care in this community can provide. So at this point, the library includes 4 components, 4 categories, 4 sections. And the titles of these categories are really meant to help answer the question of what do I feel? I feel such and such a thing. What do I need? I need blank. And so the answer to that question might be I need to move, I need to feel, I need to play, or I need to soothe. So move is going to be your space where you're going to find all resources surrounding bite-sized somatic practices to move and energize. Like move the energy through, right? So examples would be walking meditations, random like dancing videos where I create playlists and we dance and we shake it out together, or gentle stretches to really get into your body. Feel is your space where you're going to find bite-sized somatic practices to soften and be. We're not here to change how you are. We're not here to change how you feel. And this space is really going to be the space where that truth is really driven home. So you'll find yoga nidra practices, meditations, yin yoga practices that are all really meant to be like, all right, let's just feel exactly how you're feeling and see what happens when you just meet yourself where you're at. Play is going to be your space to explore playful ways to explore your creativity. So this is like, I'm really excited about this space. I am hugely creative and I would really love to create with you. So here you're going to find crafts and vegan recipes themed around the seasons. And then soothe, where you're going to find practices to help soothe your nervous system. So really like easy little exercises that you can do that will be tied into the theme that we're exploring. And these are all meant to be spaces where you can come into whenever it is that you need. It's just a library of pre-recorded content that you can enter into whenever you're like, oh, okay, I need a little bit of dose of cozy as well as a dose of self-care through the lens of serving your creative self. And then lastly, you will have access as a Meadow member to quarterly craft and stretch gatherings. So again, we're not here to tie you down to have to show up to the live content on a regular basis. Although you do have access to all the live stream classes, you also are offered all of these more like come and practice on your own terms in your own way types of resources. So this is really about continually letting the wildness of your Moonflower essence be free. So I know that we also as creative folk yearn for community. So on a quarterly basis, we will meet to tend to our creative bodies and craft, create, make art together. So if all of those words lit you up, then the Meadow might be your space to hang out in. Okay, and then the third tier, the fireside. In and of itself, the fireside might elicit this like, ooh, like sparkly, crackly type of energy, and that was on purpose. The fireside is here to serve the earth-loving folk that are passionate and here to really be resourced by the earth. You, Moonflower, care deeply. You care for your fellow loved ones and community, for deep connection in your life and for our beautiful earth. You believe in the power of magic, living in alignment with the natural and seasonal cycles and the power it all holds and connecting you to yourself, spirit, and the world around you. Yet you're tired. Either tired from caring for others, of moving through a disconnected world, and or of feeling helpless to the broken systems that we live in. That fire within you is worthy of being cared for and tended to. In this space, you will be inspired in community to anchor into healing practices that you deserve, that you are worthy of. To gather by the fireside is to fill up your cup, heal in community, explore the magic within and outside of yourself, retreat from the world, and connect with the wisdom of the earth so that you can enter back into it ready to create the impact in the ways you know you can. So this tier, lovely, is the whole shebang. You get access to everything in this community space. So when I originally constructed the tiers, the way that I kind of imagined it, it was pulled from inspiration from, so there's this retreat and wellness center near my house that is in the woods, and they had I think it was a Samhain craft fair, so around Halloween, and it was all like witchy themed. So all the craft and vendors were spiritual, witchy, pagan folk that created like really beautiful crafts, like these really like, lots of crystals, lots of candles, some wands, that type of stuff. And so the way that it was actually built, like the way that the site that the craft fair was actually built, was that you arrived, you parked in the parking lot, and you started in the parking lot right beside their beautiful log cabin of a wellness space. And so you started at the Homestead. And so you're like, okay, look, I'm here, like feeling good. There's some supports inside. There's like snacks inside where I can like land and feel good, right? So the Homestead, you start where it feels safe and comfortable. And then after you arrived, the craft fair was quite literally built where the stalls then began to wander down this path. And the path moved such that there was then this like clearing where it opened up, and then the vendors were all lined up around this circle of open, clear space in the forest. And it was this expansive space where you were able to explore all the creativity that was there, right? So the meadow, like literally, like this is where I pulled the inspiration. And then at the end, once you continued to meander down that path, after you moved through this expansive space, there was quite literally a fireplace, a fire pit, an outdoor fire pit at the end. And they had this little chalkboard of events that were listed where at like 11 a.m. there was a cacao ceremony. At 1 p.m. there was like a campfire sing-along. And so it was this space at the end of the path, kind of this like destination where it was like deep into the forest. There was like this tuning out from the world type of essence, type of energy. And it was for the folks that were really yearning to connect in all of the different ways, right? Connect with themselves, connect with ritual, connect with the energies of the earth. So the fireside is all about somatic ritual. And it's about filling up your cup and co-regulating with monthly gatherings, seasonal rituals, and a powerful community of change makers. So now that I've offered you this imagery, there might be a little bit more of a understanding of, okay, this is where we're kind of walking and exploring. So what's included in the Fireside tier. So you get access to the cozy and engaged community. You get access to all the weekly live stream classes, as well as all of the recordings that will continue to grow as the months go on. You get access to the library of somatic self-care resources, which again will grow as the months go on. You get access to the quarterly craft and stretch gatherings. And then the two other resources that you get access to are, one, the weekly lunar ritual. This ritual has become a staple of the Moonflower community. You are just as magical, radiant, soft, and cyclical as the moon. So on a weekly basis, you will be guided through a live, or gain access to the recording, lunar ritual, helping you tune into the energies found around the particular phase the moon finds herself in. So this weekly lunar ritual is about 45 minutes in length, so it's a bit shorter than the live stream classes, and it is split up into 3 different parts, so body, mind, and heart. And so we move through a little bit of yoga, a little bit of somatic movement, a little bit of meditation, and then a little bit of journaling to tune into yourself, as well as really pull from the energy of the moon. And then the big, oh, this is what you have access to as a Fireside member, are the monthly Fireside gatherings. As a Fireside member, you gain access to sacred monthly gatherings. The Fireside gatherings are guided by the Wheel of the Year seasonal celebrations. So you will have time to pause, tune in, and gather in community to honor the cycles and wisdom of the earth. These somatic rituals, seasonal gatherings, earth-based workshops will help you feel empowered, supported, stable, and ready to do right by the earth, your body, and your community. You, Moonflower, are a steward of this land, and through connecting with your own body, you connect with the wisdom found in the earth. The more we learn about her wisdom, the more we will be inspired to do right by her. This is about filling up your cup, sourcing from spirit, and being inspired to take small yet impactful steps towards a better world. So I want to give you a few examples of what type of Fireside gatherings, what type of workshops you can actually expect. So the basis of the way that I've created all of the content starts at the very root, pulling from the Wheel of the Year. And if you have been here for a little while, you are familiar with the Wheel of the Year. We move through the seasonal ritual episodes as we move through. Next week's episode is actually quite literally going to be exploring Beltane. And that's where we start. So we start in May with pulling the themes from Beltane. And so the theme for the first month is going to be creativity. And the Fireside gathering will be a Beltane ritual where we will create flower crowns together. And this is really about pulling from the earth goddess fiery energy of Beltane. And then the create theme gets spread through the Meadow resources. So the create theme will be explored when it comes to the resources that are offered there of really helping to support your creativity. And then as the months go on, we continue to explore more and more themes. So June, we will explore abundance. July, we will explore play. And so in June, the gathering will be a summer solstice ritual where we will explore a gratitude fire ritual. And then in July, as we explore the theme of play, the gathering will be play through creativity, where we will have our first special guest. So you can actually explore the schedule a little bit better if you visit the website. And I've got all the info there. And the way that this podcast is actually going to serve keeping you up to date, because the doors are not closing to being a Moonflower member. They will remain open, and the invitation will always be there for you to join if you don't become a founding member. But I hope that you do, because the price is going to be better and you will just be part of it from the very beginning. So really the way that this podcast is going to help serve keeping you up to date is that at the beginning of every month, I'm going to explore the theme that we're exploring within the membership and what you can actually expect within the membership in that coming month. So you don't need to know everything right now, because I'm just going to continually keep you up to date. Okay, so I've explored all the different tiers. Now let's talk about pricing, right? That's what everybody really wants to know. I am totally guilty of making my way to a sales page and just scrolling all the way down and then finding what the price is. The founding member pricing will be available from April 17th to April 26th. Why is it beneficial to become a founding member? At this point, you've heard how much value and how much content and how many resources are already found within the membership. However, this is literally only the beginning. I have so many more ideas. I have so many more things that I want to add to this space, so many different directions that I want to go. Like, who knows? Who knows if there's going to be a retreat in a couple of years? I would love to bring in more classes, more teachers on the schedule. I would love to expand the library of resources where we have like witchy toolkit that you have access to, kind of like a monthly magazine. I have so many dreams and so many ideas when it comes to the Moonflower Path. And if you are a founding member, you have access to all of that growth without you having to shift the investment, but also you being able to be part of it from the beginning and actually help shape this space. The monthly investment for founding member prices has been significantly discounted as a way of really honoring you're here from the beginning and you're locking in that price from day one. So your price will never increase. So you have access to that price forever as long as you continually stay a member. So the founding member pricing at this point, all of that information is found on the website. I'm not going to say the numbers here because you can take a look and you can do the math and you can figure out what really is sitting right for you. But please know that there's been a lot of intention, a lot of thought put into making sure that this pricing is fair and is really standing behind the value of this space. I'm incredibly proud of the amount of content that already is in the membership, but that will continually be added into the membership, as well as accessibility is still a big part of this business. So if you are wanting to be a founding member, but you're feeling like you can't justify the cost, please reach out to me. I do have a limited amount of spots for pay what you can members. So please reach out to me. But in order to become a founding member and have access to that founding member pricing, you most definitely want to join before April 26th. After April 26th, the price goes up to regular. So it would be wise, if you're considering it, to become a member today. And then all of our live programming starts on May 1st. All right, lovely. So I hope that this has really helped you understand what the Moonflower Path Community Space is, how it can serve you, the magic that is found within this space, and I really, really look forward to hanging out with you there. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Visit the website to register and become a member. Next week, you can expect us to go back to regular programming as I come to you with another seasonal rituals podcast episode where we will explore all the different ways that you can celebrate Beltane. And if you appreciated this episode, or if you know that there's somebody that would really benefit from being a part of this community, then send them this resource so that we can continually grow the Moonflower community. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll chat with you next week. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Moonflower Path podcast. I'm your host, Carolyn, and ways that you can find more support from me and this cozy community are all found in the show notes. Please consider rating, reviewing, and sharing this podcast with a friend. Those are the best ways to show your support for this free and accessible resource. Wishing you a gentle rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting again with you very soon.